Spirit guides, universe, and angels, please stand beside me and guide me for Aries' highest good. How is Aries feeling in this second week of May 2025 with regards to the one they're thinking about, dealing with, or manifesting in? So, I think a lot of you are regulars, but if there's anyone new, I do a 9 card spread. I get 3 cards for how you're feeling, 3 cards for how your person's feeling, and 3 cards for the outcome. I'll clarify why they feel the way that they feel. I'll get messages from them and I'll get you some advice from Spirit as well. I'm 40. You're not listening and you're not looking. Yeah, turned 40 this weekend. Life begins at 40 and all that. I don't look 40, I don't think. So 40 is better. You've got more money. You've got more choice over your life. Well, hopefully, if you've had a good life, you have. Right, let's focus. Oh, straight out, 6 of Wands reversed. So, Aries, you might be feeling unnoticed by someone at the moment. You might be feeling unrecognised, uncelebrated, unappreciated. That's what the 6 of Wands card is about, you see. When it's upright, it's like when you're a student and you graduate and you march through the street in a big parade and everyone, claps and cheers, and it's about being noticed. So with that being reversed, it's the opposite of that, okay? So you might feel undervalued, or just maybe there's someone you're desperate for them to notice you and they haven't. Or you might feel like you've been particularly good to this person and therefore worthy of being a candidate for love, but maybe they don't see you like that. Just trying to think of different scenarios. Let's see what else comes out. The 9 of Swords upright. So this could have been going on for a little while, because in tarot, the numbers run from 2 through to 10. Aces are Wands. And we're at 9. So either it's been going on for a while, or you're just really, really bothered by this, like anxious about it, can't stop thinking about it, all up in your head. So these are general readings for anyone who's Aries. You could be a cusper, so I'm early on in Taurus season. So Aries readings tend to resonate for me as well, and I get slightly different information from them. You may be a cross-watcher, you might wish to watch the sign of your person, they might be Aries or have Aries in their chart. Always check out your moon sign as well. You don't just have to watch your tarot, your tarot sign, your sun sign. Right, we've got the 9 of Pentacles reversed. The 9 of Pentacles, when it's upright, is someone who's single and they're abundant. They're able to pay their own way. When it's reversed, it can be a sign that you don't want to be single, okay? It could be that you don't have enough money to pay for yourself, but it's often a sign that you're looking to collaborate and you want to be the 10 of Pentacles, which is when you put your salary and another person's salary together and you create lasting generational wealth. 10 is always about family. It's about that wider picture. Okay, so 9 reversed is like, I don't want 9, I want 10. Yeah. Right, let's see how your person is feeling, the one that's on your mind, the one that you're dealing with or manifesting in the future. You definitely got someone on your mind here because you feel unnoticed. How are they feeling? Right, we've got a combination. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Why can't I speak today? Oh my goodness. There's pure tea here. We've got the Eight of Cups upright. Now, that is someone who's walking away from a relationship. We've got the Death card reversed. That's unfinished business. We've got the King of Wands, someone who's very vivacious, attractive, sexy, confident, bold, they're action orientated. They're not just going to sit around and think they're a doer. They could at times be someone who does, without thinking too much about it. But a king is still someone, it's very accomplished, very mature. They have a lot of responsibility and they enjoy having a lot of responsibility. The Seven of Wands is being competitive. It can be, we're trying to come up against others, we're trying to compete. Something's definitely gone on here. If this is resonating, it could be a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Doesn't have to be. It's just someone who's got that solar plexus activated. They're assertive, they're confident. If you've got fire in your chart, like I say, I cusp with Aries. Although I'm an earth sign, I am very driven. I'm self-driven and motivated, and sometimes I lack confidence, but when that solar plexus is activated, I wipe the floor with people. I really want to avoid that at all costs, but when it comes to it, I will do it. Fire signs already, one with fire in the chart, will be really passionate and loyal. They can have bursts of anger. I feel like normally if the person, whoever has the Eight of Cups, they're the one that walked away from the relationship. But even if they did do that, I don't think they're happy with their decision. They could have done that in the heat of the moment. They could have said, right, it's over, and they're regretting it because they haven't moved on from this. There's things that they want for them to be in this mode of like, there's things I really want and need to sort out and achieve. And they're very, very determined. This is like, I'm going to get what I want. I've dated a lot of Leos. I attract Leos, and they're very fiery and they will speak their mind in the heat of the moment. So it's quite possible this person made, they threw the relationship, they threw the gauntlet down and threw this out of the window. And didn't really, I've done that myself in the heat of the moment. I didn't really want to say the things that I was saying, but I was so like ego driven and like, I'm in charge and I've got the upper hand, that you can end up thinking, I didn't mean that, or I didn't mean it to go this far. I don't even know I'm saying these things. Do you know what I mean? I'm getting that vibe. I'm getting that vibe. Let's see what else comes out. It could, the other thing I was going to say was, it could just be that this is a bit of a narrative where you walked away and, they never got over it. I feel like this has just happened though. I don't feel like this is a past like ages ago. I feel like this is really like fresh. The fact that you're so upset and you don't want to be single and you feel unappreciated, I think they did it. But I don't think they meant to do it. It's like the ego got the better of them and just in the moment, because fire signs like always want to be in charge. In fact, they could do with taking a back seat sometimes and taking a more, what's the approach like? Just steady, calm, lose the ego. Let's see what else comes out. So they're showing up. I do think you've separated because they're showing up as a king, but you're not showing up as a court card. So I don't think you're married. I think this is someone you were dating or in a relationship with. Page of Wands reversed. So I think this is throwing them off a little bit. You know, their emotions. If you're normally very fiery and passionate and confident, when you're upset, it's like pouring water over the fire. You know, it puts that fire out. So we've got like this sense of being unenthusiastic, demotivated, unexcited for what's to come, because it's really thrown this person off the game. The Ace of Pentacles reversed. Now, you could have moved out, you know, or you could have said, right, that's it, it's over, or they could have. But as I say, they regret that, and they feel like they've lost something really good here, because an ace would be a leveling up, like we've decided we're buying a house together, or we've decided we're being exclusive, or we've decided that we're going to get engaged. It's like a major, you know, and it's not just a pentacle, it's an ace of pentacles, it's loads of pentacles. So it's serious amounts of time, money, and energy that we're going to cause a level up of being lost because of this, you know, huge argument. It's a big loss for them, you know, and fire signs are very much about status and how they appear to others. They care about property, they care about marriage, they care about whatever they say is status, assets, you know, what job they do, the career, they really care about that. So this is like really embarrassing for them. The Five of Swords reversed. So in the outcome, the first card is one where we wish to avoid arguments. We're really trying to be careful with the words that we say. So they may be starting to hold back and think before they speak, bite the tongue, bite the lip. When people want to protect their ego, they'll get angry instead of crying. So this is what, you know, this is what could be going on. The Four of Cups. Now, the Four of Cups upright is a rejection of emotion. So you can see that the heart chakra is getting closed off because these arguments, the ego, you know, is bruised, we're demotivated. We're not willing to let emotions in at the moment. It's walls up. Seven of Cups reversed. This person's so up in their head, they crossed over into delusion. When the Seven of Cups is upright, it's being at a crossroads. Often you get this card after a relationship ends or right before it's supposed to end. And, you know, the next one might be the Eight of Cups to walk away, or you could have just had an Eight of Cups. But basically, you're trying to figure out what's next. What direction do I go? What do I want? When it's reversed, we're crossing over from daydreaming into, you know, I'm having a bit of a fantasize and thinking, what do I want to manifest? I don't know what I want next. We've gone over into delusion. So it's like, where in reality, we haven't spoken for months, too much is being said. I'm just going to hope that one day we'll be back together, or I'm just going to hope that I meet someone new who's better and they're perfect and they look like them, but they have a different personality. It's like when you just go a bit unrealistic, or you fantasize too much for too long, too many hours spent in the day, you know, daydreaming, and we're not kind of living in reality. you're really something to knock this person off the off their game, you know, like that's not easy to do that with a fire sign. I mean, fire versus fire, right? You're Aries, so you are fire, but they could be Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, but you're really throwing this person off. You can see from the fact that this is all like wands and pentacles that, you know, it speaks for itself that they're very goal orientated. Okay. Um let's let's clarify what's going on with them. Why have they got the Eight of Cups? You know, why did they say it if they didn't mean it? Let's get Shadow Love oracles. Teasing, dangling partial truths, needing answers, shifting. Closed off, not emotionally available, distracted, hurt in the past. Okay. So, you know, when people feel the need to always have the upper hand in a relationship, if they feel like you're going to walk away because you've said, look, we need to have a talk, there's stuff that I'm not happy with, but you intend it to be a restorative conversation, they might panic and think, I'm about to lose this person, so they'll be the one that finishes it first. Does that make sense? Like, if they worry and they think, oh God, this is like the talk, like we need to talk means I'm getting broken up with, they will like preserve their ego by like saying all kinds of stuff, you know, like blowing off steam, like saying a load of things they don't really mean because they're panicking, they're proper freaking out. So they'll end up finishing it and throwing the gauntlet down and saying that's it, it's done, because they think that's what you're leading up to, but you actually are someone with healthy attachment and you wanted to just have a conversation where you could properly communicate things that you aren't happy with, and further down the line, if there wasn't progress or they didn't change, or you couldn't work on it together, you know, then much further down the line it would be a problem. But most times when you talk about stuff, you can both tweak a little bit what you're doing, sorry, and work on it and change things and repair it or strengthen it, come even closer together, you know, but they're not used to that. They're used to being abandoned. So they're just going into panic mode, and they could have run this into the ground like early doors, you know, just out of fear. To do with being hurt in the past, could be as a child. I don't know if your person has healthy attachment or they have abandonment issues on one side from one parent or both parents. They could be fostered, they could be an orphan, they could be adopted, or they could have had a parent die young. They could have grown up in a situation where one parent wasn't around, or sometimes they'd be there and sometimes they'd leave for periods. Something has caused this person to believe that everyone walks away. It's their perception, it's not the reality, okay? But your blueprint for life comes from your childhood experiences. Finding forever. Your path holds infinite possibilities if you dare. It's going to require them to be more brave to sort this out. Deeper waters, step out of your comfort zone and explore new depths. You know, like a lot of people will finish relationships early on because they feel themselves getting deeply attached. They want to prevent themselves getting to, as your like love for someone builds, the hurt that you would feel if the relationship ended or they broke up with you or something happened to them, that builds. So, this person cuts things off at the nub, at the base, before it can get to this really heightened point, because they don't want to feel the pain that's equivalent to that. Does that make sense? So they self-sabotage and, create an emotional drama so that it can end, and they can preserve that dignity and that sense of low self-worth. But they need to try to work on those emotions with the help of a professional, I think. Because what will happen is you'll end up losing people that are worth, being loyal to. Hidden thorns. Look beyond the romance to discern true intentions. Leos, and presumably, because I've not dated them, but I'm sure Aries and Sagittarians, but Leos in particular, really romantic. They're very loyal. All they want is loyalty, but they're so afraid of picking the wrong person, picking someone who's disloyal. I think this is how they perceive romantic relationships, to be honest. Like you're just surrounded by potential danger where you could really get hurt. Let's get a what lies beneath. This is recently bought, this tarot deck, this oracle deck, sorry. I like it because it's got a lot of different things that can come out. Ooh. Toxic. Something about this situation or this person is toxic, or they've grown up in toxicity. Fulfilling a fantasy. Now, fulfilling a fantasy, if you've grown up in a toxic environment, your fantasy is normal. Your fantasy is having someone that values you, that doesn't want to leave you, that would never hurt you or let anyone else hurt you. So fulfilling a fantasy can be the fantasy can just be a calm, loyal partner, not having drama. Emotional intelligence. Yeah, we want someone who's emotionally intelligent. Depression. They may experience depression sometimes and not show it or not discuss it with anyone, not let anyone know. Hotel, motel, suit, business, pleasure, getting a room, police. Bloody hell. Why is that coming out? They're used to drama. Sometimes when people are used to drama, they have to create it, because then that proves their theory that everyone always leaves or that everyone's out to hurt them. I don't know, that's conjecture, but there's a lot of cards here that have come out, so they've definitely got some baggage here. Even when people present as incredibly level-headed, it's how they present, isn't it? It's not, they're not going to pour their heart out to anyone. They're not going to make themselves vulnerable to everyone. It will be like maybe one person in their lifetime that will know their secrets, their emotions, their deepest thoughts. If you're someone that really holds a lot of fear, you're gonna put a lot of bravado out that you are doing really well all the time, that you're a winner, that no one can get you down. It's part of their coping mechanism and how they survive, these harsh situations. You're not going to invite everyone to know the chink in your armour. You're just not going to do it. You're going to make out like you are invincible. Okay? And you're going to tell yourself that as well. Let's get a confession from this person. I'm focused on my career and finances. So this person is, put that next to my mermaid's purse. They've gone cold with emotions because I told you they've been triggered by the fact that they are scared, they are hurt. It's like when you're wounded, you just want to put a tourniquet on it to stop all the blood running out. This is like, you know, an instinctive response. This is like automatic for this person. It's like, right, shut down emotion, quick. Let's get messages from them. Yeah, I told you. The only thing they want is this to be back on track. But they might not even communicate that because they're just trying to put on a brave face, you know? You're likely the healthiest relationship they've had. And that is terrifying for people who have lived a life of drama and instability. I don't want to lose you. They're completely in love, Ace of Cups. Totally reflective on the past. Completely competitive, you know, possessive over you. Even if they're not saying it, if they're not acting like it, they don't want to hear that anyone else is interested in you. Because often if you're someone who's a great partner, you know, you're healthy, you're functioning, you've got a lovely family, there's people queuing up, just waiting for them to like be daft and finish it so that they can go out with you instead. And they know that. The Fool, I'm ready. I want to take a leap of faith. I would do anything for you. Ten of Cups. You know, like they want a family, they want normal, but they've got some issues, okay? Which makes it difficult for them to achieve it. Right, what do I need? What do I need? Let's get a Romance Oracle. Destiny and Butterfly. Oh my goodness. So we've got Destiny. The reunion with your twin flame is a destined event. So you could be triggering healing in this person. They could be triggering healing in you. Butterfly, you will meet a new love interest at a party or a night out. There's a lot going on in your life at the moment, Aries. Twin flames are, they're not karmic, they are purposeful connections. They have more purpose than a functioning 3D relationship, because a twin flame connection is healing your soul and it's healing the other person's soul. What it means is you have a magnetic connection and you come together for short periods, like a few days, and then you're apart for months at a time. And it's a pattern, Okay, the flames touch occasionally. If you put two candles next to each other, the flames touch occasionally. This is what happens with twin flame connections, because you're supposed to be intensely attracted to each other, drawn to each other, so that you can experience a different profound connection. And then you're supposed to reassess what your current ideals or ideas of love are, of healthy relationships are, of what's fair. You know, you're reassessing everything, and you break up that existing blueprint and you rearrange it, and you build a new schema, and you learn, you know, what you've been doing is unhealthy. That's the biggest thing you could ever do for anyone. So although you're not in a long-term relationship or marriage that lasts for years, you're healing someone, you know. So there's drama, there's, you know, long periods of being apart, but the twin flames journey is profound, and you'll never experience a sexual connection like it, an emotional connection like it. It's so intense. But you're supposed to have long periods apart, and it's repetitive, it's cyclical. Okay, you take turns chasing each other and running after each other. I hope that makes sense. I might have explained what you already know, but I don't think everyone knows. So there we go. Right, anything else to clarify what's been going on with this person? The one Aries is dealing with. Pets. Getting a new pet, giving a current pet more love. This is not literal, okay? It's the idea, it's the idea of being able to nurture something, or having someone new on the horizon. You know, when you first meet someone and it's new and exciting, but then you have to start to care for it. I hope this person, in the context of this entire spread, is going to have to learn what a healthy, loving connection is, because they don't actually know. Mirror. Oh my god, that's freaky. I told you, right? It's twin flames. It came out in one oracle deck, and it's come out in another one. Mirroring each other's self-image. Relationships reflect our wounds. Introspection. You're experiencing a profound connection that's designed to teach you, you know, when you're together it's awesome, when you're apart it's provoking and triggering healing. Okay, because both of you have issues of self-esteem, self-worth, trust, boundaries. You know, one of you is a runner, the other's a chaser. So this person is a runner, you are a chaser. You think that if you go towards them you can fix it, but with a runner they're not healthy attachments, so they will evade, they'll avoid, they'll disappear, they'll do it for months, okay, if they need to. Because your healthy attachment, hopefully you will stop chasing, and then they will turn and look and be like, why aren't they chasing me anymore? I don't like how this feels, I feel alone, I feel abandoned, I need them, and they will start to chase you. So that's the twin flames journey, is that you learn to stop chasing because that's your issue, and they learn to stop running. But it has to happen many times for us to undo what we've learned. Okay, and you may never have a normal relationship together, but in the sense that you never really had them, you can't really lose them. You've profoundly affected this person's soul. forever, you know, so it's bigger. It's so much bigger. It's like an umbrella thing. It's so much bigger than, you know, having a relationship or getting married. Like, you've healed this person's soul. And it may take a lifetime to do it, but how important is that? How profound is that? When are these two going to start speaking again? If they're not in contact, when are they going to start speaking again? Because they've switched off emotions. They've got 4 of Cups and it says, I'm focused on my career and finances. However, they're completely obsessed with this situation. Distract yourself from the waiting game, because it could be February next year by the time this comes back together. Okay? Pure issues. So we're not waiting on a day-to-day basis, you know. Just because you want someone to be healed doesn't mean they are. You can't force anyone to heal on your time frames. Their scars, okay, they're healing. Right, let's get you some advice. What is the advice for Aries with regards to this connection, the one that's showing up for them? If this resonates, what's their advice? Meditate, make some quiet time in the still air. So when we can't control things external to us or other people's actions or their healing, we have to find a way to calm ourselves, okay? And you can do this through meditating. That doesn't mean that you have to do yoga. It doesn't mean that you have to do sound baths. Go out in nature, okay, and just ground yourself. Limit the amount of time you spend thinking about this. Focus on the things that are going to benefit you, like exercise, like spending time with friends, family, people that are reliable, people that are there for you. Wish this person well, you know, give out good vibes, and take care of yourself. Let's get a couple more advice cards. In God's hands, my trust in life is implicit. God's greater knowing and greatest love guides my heart and my choices. My faith is steady, and I remain true to my light. Everything unfolds according to God's will. I love that colour. It makes me feel really, like, embraced and calm. Okay, one final advice. So much advice. Look at this. Celebrate your wins. Okay, so find things to be appreciative of and happy about. You are winning. We can make it feel like everything's going terrible, and if we just had this one person, everything would be perfect. But we mustn't do that. Reframe it and go, do you know what? My family are healthy right now. Or, do you know what? I live in a really peaceful environment right now. There's people with terminal illness. There's people living in war zones, you know, getting dragged out of buildings like half alive. People being abused. Like, let's get some perspective back on the situation. Not being in control of someone else's healing isn't the same as having a terrible life. You got a very good life, you know, and there'll be little successes that you have here and there. So put the focus on that. You are winning. Integrate your knowing. Okay, so what we know about this person is quite a lot, and what we know about ourselves is quite a lot, and what we know about the people around us is quite a lot. So knowledge is power. Trust that everything's going to be all right. You're exactly where you're supposed to be, okay? And that everyone's on their own individual journey. So it's not for us to control it, it's for us to trust. Your knowing is your intuition, okay? That everything is part of a bigger divine plan. Yeah, worst things happen at sea. Oh, how pretty is this? Nourish the sacred feminine. So, what you want to do is be like the high priestess. You know, you want to keep your soul intact. You want to keep your trust, your belief, your faith intact. Um, don't feel like this isn't working out how I wanted it to, or when I wanted it to, or the way I wanted it to. Therefore, I'm going to reject it. You know, bring your spirit team in, ask your angels for help to give you strength in this time. You know, continue to believe that your manifestations are going to come into reality and focus on what you do want. Ask out loud and say, like, I want to meet the person that's right for me. If I'm not this person's person, you know, I just wish them well. Um, I would like someone with their qualities, or just be at one with how things are. Okay. Be a nurturer, be calm. Feminine is all about nurture. You know, having unconditional love for a person is different to saying, I'm only going to be happy if I end up with them. That's not unconditional love. Raw intention. Oh my God, it's getting real today, isn't it? I love the colour of that orange. Raw intention. Look at that, the way the arrow's like pointing up from the. It's like orange is the colour of your sacral chakra. When you have unconditional love for people and you come from a place of abundance and trust and faith, and all the other like chakras are like activated, you know, you can continue to be passionate, excited, vivacious, horny, passionate, all the things that come from being content. That's really nice. That's also like that colour is like very much like terracotta as well, which is very earthy, being connected to the planet. You know, that's what your sacral chakra is, between your hips. It's about reproduction, sex drive. Um, your root chakra in the base of your spine is red, and that's all to do with feeling secure, having good finances, having a nest. And then you move up to your sacral chakra, which is all about reproductive. You know, think about nature. Birds have to create a nest, don't they, in order to then put eggs in it. So this is why the sacral chakra is activated when everything's going well with career and finances. Sometimes that's why people go, I'm just going to focus on my career and finances, because it's how we feel safe in the modern world. If we can control money, then we feel like basic security. So then we can feel, you know, sexy. We can feel like, yes, we might want to start a family, or, you know, just be in love and allow ourselves to relax, calm, knowing that we've got things in hand. Follow through. Yeah, so we're not just saying it, we're doing it. We're believing in our hearts that we're going to have the life that we want, that we're in control of things that are controllable. Overthinking will spoil the magic. Only allow yourself certain amounts of time to think about stuff, and then just reframe it and be like, I've thought about this enough for today, and now I'm going to go out for a walk and listen to music, or I'm going to, you know, do an activity that I love because I've deserved to be happy. Feed your artist. How weird is it that I said, like, I'm going to do something that I love? The more creative you are, the more inspired you get, and your problem solving abilities improve. So don't see creativity and creative pursuits as a luxury and something that you should feel guilty about doing. They will really improve your ideas that you're having, and you'll make different neural connections, because you'll knit together the left and the right side of the brain. Okay, so you can get more creative, and that will inspire and grow your problem solving skills, which will reduce stress. Okay. My goodness, that was a long reading. Hope that resonates for some people. I'll start to tidy away the cards and we'll move on to Taurus. Don't forget to give me a like if you enjoy my style of reading, if you want me to keep going with the channel. If you think that someone that you know who's an Aries might benefit from the reading or the advice, please share it. I'm going to start getting my tarot decks from TikTok rather than Temu, because then I can link them into the videos. Because I reckon that it's all coming from the same place anyway, isn't it?